Good day, my co-teachers. Welcome to the supplemental guide in building your LDM Practicum Portfolio. We have done the first part, the modules 1 to 4. Now we're going to build the Practicum Portfolio with its artifacts and MOVs. Required artifacts are those you have included in the portfolio, covering the standard work that you do in the LDMs. Then self-selected artifacts are those that you do within the school year, the adjustment, and how you monitor and evaluate your pupils to improve learning. This is not an exhaustive list, so chill lang tayo sa paggawa kasi we have done this throughout the school year. Now the table guide. The first column is the artifacts that are aligned to the daily outputs that you create during the course of the year. Second column describes the artifact to be collected. The third column indicates the professional standards that are met by the respective output. This provides information into how LDM outputs align with the school year 2020-2021. There could be other strands in which the artifacts may contribute to their attainment but are not indicated in the table. Let's start with the required artifacts. PPST Strand 3.1, Learner's Gender Needs, Strengths, Interests, and Experiences. So, ang kailangan natin dyan ay individual learning monitoring plans or pupils track records. You may include 2 to 3 ILMPs to show the improvements you made in creating ILMPs. And then meron siyang annotation, wherein you may explain how you did your ILMPs o yung adjustment na ginawa mo dito. Next, meron siyang 4 na strands. 3.4, Learners in Difficult Circumstances. 4.1, Planning and Management of Teaching and Learning Process. 4.2, Learning Outcomes aligned with learning competencies. 5.1, Design, Selection, Organization, and Utilization of Assessment Strategies. You may need your lesson plans, DLP, DLL, WHLP, WLP, WLL, lesson exemplars, and the likes. So, magbibigay ka ng 2 to 3 lesson plans from different quarters to show the improvements you made in creating them. In the annotation, highlight or compare the parts of the lesson plans in which you made adjustments. This is done in collaboration with your MTs or co-teachers. On the 5th strand, Teaching and Learning Resources including ICT. You may need teacher-made modified learning resources. You may include any of the following learning resources, your MDL, at least 2 to 3 sample modules. One very good example is your approved SLMs. Then, annotation uli, you highlight or compare the parts of the learning resources where you made adjustments. The next strand is 7.3, Professional Links with Colleagues. 7.5, Professional Development Goals. So, you may need your certificates of participation in any professional development activities. So, at least 2 to 3 certificates would do. And then, in the annotation, briefly explain where these were part or not part of your original PD goals in your development plans and how you applied what you have learned in your work as a teacher. Then, 7.4, Professional Reflection and Learning to Improve Practice. So, ang laman nito, reflective summary. This reflective essay should answer the question, do you feel that this collection of work really reflects your abilities and what you have achieved this year through the LDM course? Why or why not? Now, the self-selected artifacts align to the implementation of special curricula or programs. So on your PPST strand, 5.2, monitoring and evaluation of learner progress and achievement. Artifacts needed are those engaging learners for their progress and achievements. So, kailangan niya yung photo documentation ng conversation through chat, text, video conference about class requirements, notes or messages as feedback to their submitted outputs, activity sheets, SLMs, portfolios, kumustahan or consultation session with learners. So, take note, blur the names and photos of students, parents, or guardians to protect their privacy. Strand 7.3 Professional links with colleagues. MOVs on professional engagement with colleagues. You may include photo documentation of socially distanced in-person, online synchronous LAC sessions, LDM related LAC chats, faculty meetings, and in-service trainings. Last two, 5.4 Communication of learner needs, progress, and achievements to key stakeholders. 6.2 Engagement of parents and the wider school community in the educative process. Dito po ang mga pamamaraan na ginagawa natin kung paano tayo makikipag-communicate sa ating parents. You may include photo documentation of conversation with parents or guardians through chat, text, video conference, and parents dropping off modules at designated school boxes. Take note, blur the names and photos of parents or guardians to protect their privacy. Now I'm going to show you my practicum portfolio. So, this will serve as your guide. Siyempre, meron tayong cover, Learning Delivery Modality Course 2, Practicum Portfolio, and then your name. Next page is the table of contents. Then, meron akong short introduction. Now, the required artifacts. Then, sa 3.1, I chose the Individual Learning Monitoring Plan. So, be sure na kumpleto siya with the monitoring date and then the learner status hanggang sa mastery. Kompleto siya. I focus on reading kasi sa grade 1 ako. Then, sa 3.4, I chose the Weekly Home Learning Plan. So, you need 2 to 3 lesson plans. So, dadagdagan ko pa yung isa. Then, explain on your annotation. Next is 4.1. I chose the performance task and it should jive with the MELC's objectives. Next page is 4.2. So, I use the WHLP. Its objective should align with the learning outcomes or dun sa yung evaluation found on your lesson plans. Then, 5.1, Design, Selection, Organization, and Utilization of Assessment Strategies. I use the learning activity sheets. Then, explain further on your annotation. 4.5, Teaching and Learning Resources including ICT. You may use your video lessons or your virtual lessons. Then, cite some adjustment done on your annotation. Next, pages 7.3 and 7.5 include 2 to 3 certificates. In your annotation, you may explain whether these were part or not part of your original PD goals in your IDP and how you applied what you have learned in your work as a teacher. Lastly, on this part is your reflective summary. Let's continue with the self-selected artifacts. 5.2, I included the finished test papers and also the photos taken while they are doing their assessment. 5.3, So these are photos taken from the GC. So wherein you gave feedback to your pupils. 7.3 Professional links with colleagues. So I included the LAC sessions, only the photo documentation, and also some faculty meetings and in-service trainings. 5.4 Communication of learners' needs, progress and achievement. So conversation with parents and guardians. Photos showing progress of their children. Then finally, 6.2. So these are conversation with parents or parent leaders while dropping off their modules. Blur names and photos of parents or guardians to protect their privacy. With this, thank you for watching.